Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Principal Analyst and Co-founder, RedMonk, James Governor.
So, here we go. I love that, by the way. That thing, that's worth the price of admission alone for me. Good morning, everyone. So yes, I'm Monk Chips. I tweet a lot, though. It's not necessarily a great signal to noise. You'll get a lot of nonsense on there. But it's kind of where I live. So when Peter said, or in fact when Richard Schroeder, said, we want you to talk about the future of platforms and the future, well, how do you do that in 10 minutes? So William Gibson, the future is already here, it's just not very evenly distributed. I've been here for a couple of days, and I think what's interesting to me, and I think as a speaker, some people, maybe, you saw Simon Wardley, he knew what he was going to say weeks ago, months ago. Me, on the other hand, a little bit more freewheeling, and you're sucking it in, taking it in, trying to work out what's going on. The future is now. It is amazing to me, the progress that we've made. So here we are, we're living this augmented reality, virtual reality, phone-mediated world. Does the phone serve us, or do we serve it? We used to A/B test the code. Today, Facebook is A/B testing us. It's making us feel emotions. Sometimes it's outrage. In fact, a lot of the time, it seems to be outrage. But there are good things in this utopic dystopia that we're in. There's plenty of great things. There's a huge amount of convenience. But as I say, sometimes we're doing things without thinking about it. I'm sure some of you have found yourself on Amazon Prime buying something. Do I need that thing? I don't know, but it's so easy. I need to get from A to B. I already pressed the Uber button. What made me do that? It's the dopamine. These sort of feelings that we're creating and engendering. We are living in the future already. So that's a pivotal customer. It's honestly, it's staggering to me. I mean, at RedMonk, we've spent many years talking about serving the developer, freeing up the developer to do great work, enabling the developer, and they will create great experiences for your customers, for your business partners. You're all doing that. It's extraordinary to me to hear organizations like, when Allstate, Matt Curry's there from Composed, and he's talking about empathy. If I thought even 5 years ago that at an enterprise conference, you all would be talking about empathy, I would have been very surprised. Talking to Greg Otto from Comcast, they're making open source contributions. I waited 15 years advocating that enterprises do open source, and now it's becoming the norm. Orange is contributing to Cloud Foundry. Comcast is. Many of you are thinking about what will it mean to go on that journey and what will it enable. So here's me. You're doing what I told you, so what happens now? What does the future look like? We've been saying new kingmakers. That's what developers are. How do we serve them? You're using that language. As an analyst firm, I feel like this is an existential threat. You're here in the future already. So how can I say anything about what the future actually does look like? So robots. I'm old enough to have seen Star Wars, back in the 70s when it first came out. And this idea of robots that would talk back, that understood our emotions, that were just part of the world, that were a little bit cranky, I think is interesting. Cranky robots and robots that have themselves emotions. We're seeing nations now saying we want to take a lead in AI, so we should give robots human rights. Well, it'd be great if humans had human rights first. So what does the programming model look like? This is a developer conference, so it shouldn't all be hand-waving. We've been building these forms-based apps. That's really the thing. The way we have interfaced with the machine has not been in talking to it. It's been in building forms-based apps. So much of what we do on our daily So when we create the hello world, when we go about coding, it's about the interface. And that interface is a screen-based interface. And we're fine with that. We have a programming model that accommodates that. But what is the programming model going to look like as it changes to cranky robots? So there's kind of an amazing thing happening. So this is a voice kit from Google, do-it-yourself AI. We're kind of moving to a two-tier world. We've got TensorFlow running on the device. Last week, Amazon released something called Deep Lens. It's a video camera. It looks quite consumery, but it's just for developers, so that developers can begin to understand what it means to program to AI, machine learning. And what does it mean when you've got it running locally, as well as in the cloud? Rolls-Royce is going to have autonomous ships in Norway by 2019 running TensorFlow. What do those programming models look like? And that's not just voice, it's vision. So you've got both of these, and thinking about what does it look like when the application can see us? I think we know this guy. So image recognition is the new hello world. And it's extraordinarily powerful. You don't need to be a data scientist to do amazing work with AI and machine learning engines. It's being commoditized. It's being democratized. And literally, this is just, go to Google, check out their Vision API, put in a picture, and this is the metadata you get back. And it doesn't just identify, oh, hey, it's a person smiling, right? They know who it is. That's available and accessible to all of you. But what does it look like to develop to that? And it does know how James feels. You can be like, oh, well, he's smiling. Well, of course he is. He's just had a great couple of days at his conference, right? So that's all good. He's smiling. You could say, oh, well, but you don't actually understand the emotion. But you do. It turns out that computers are better in some cases at parsing emotion than some people. So a programming model that is about these sort of events and emotions and so on, what would it look like? It's probably going to look like serverless. There's going to be a lot of listening. There's going to be a lot of event-based programming. You'll probably find yourself coding in JavaScript. It was very interesting to me, looking at Riff. That was not kind of pivotal as usual. It's like writing a node, at SpringOne, that's kind of a big deal. Not using Cloud Foundry at SpringOne, that's kind of a big deal. There is a new event-based model with a different kind of applications that we're moving towards, and that's what we need to think about, and that's what the future platform needs to look like. And of course, all of this data, the AI, the machine learning, the events, the streams of data, because we're all walking around creating these events, we're being tracked. Sometimes we want to be tracked, sometimes we don't. How do we collect all that data? What does the platform look like that enables us to ingest all of that and start to create more useful services for our clients? The future is now. You're doing it. I'm talking to HCSC. They're literally doing that. They're collecting all of their events. They've made their data lake. They're ready to start doing more and more interesting work in terms of healthcare. Back to the future. I think it's really important as a community, as individuals, as, parents, friends, families, business people, to think about what we're doing. To Andrew's point, seems like governance around the world is not too good right now. We have to take more responsibility. Just because we can do something doesn't always mean that we should. There is tremendous power that we've been given in these new platforms. It is extraordinary, the kinds of experiences that we can create, the things that we can make people do, the way that we can make them feel. But I think it's very important that we come together and we do take responsibility for the applications and services that we build. The platforms will support us in developing them, but it is us that has to take responsibility. And that is what I had to say this morning. Thank you.